The wall cracked before Nia even understood what was happening. A violent crack exploded beside her head as Jae Min Park's palm slammed into the hospital wall. Dust drifted down. The lights flickered. Her breath caught in her throat. He didn't touch her. He didn't need to. His presence alone pinned her in place. Jae Min's chest rose and fell like he was barely holding himself together. His tie hung loose, his eyes wild, too wild for a man known for never losing control. "Nia." His voice was low, rough. "How can you not remember me?" She forced a swallow. "Sir, I think you have the wrong—" "Don't." His arm came up, caging her in. "Don't lie to me." Her pulse hammered. 1 minute she was delivering patient charts. The next, she was trapped between cold concrete and the man whose name made entire neighborhoods go silent. He leaned in close enough that she felt the heat of him, close enough that his cologne mixed with something darker, something dangerous. "You really don't know me?" he whispered. "I don't," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "Please move." He didn't move. Instead, he reached into his coat, slow, deliberate. For a moment, she thought he was reaching for a weapon. What he pulled out was worse. A bracelet, silver, bent, her name engraved inside. Nai Ai. Her breath stopped. Jae Min held it between them like it was the last piece of his sanity. "This was on my wrist the night you saved my life." Her eyes widened before she could stop them. He saw it. Of course he saw it. "So you do remember," he said, voice cracking. "I don't," she whispered, even though her body betrayed her. He stepped closer, the space between them shrinking to nothing. 12 years, he breathed. "I searched 12 years for you." Her heart slammed against her ribs. He stared at her like she was the only thing in the world that mattered. Like losing her once had carved something out of him he never got back. Then something inside him snapped. He pushed away from the wall so suddenly she flinched. His breath shook. His hand tightened around the bracelet like it hurt to hold it. And without a word, he turned and walked down the hallway, shoulders rigid, steps uneven. Like leaving her was physically painful. Nia pressed her back to the wall, hands trembling. She remembered. Every second, every scar, every night she prayed never to see him again. But she couldn't let him know that, not when the boy she saved had become the most feared Mafia boss on the East Coast. Crestwood Academy didn't feel like a school. It felt like a kingdom built for the rich. Marble floors, glass walls, students stepping out of cars worth more than most houses, and in the middle of all that polished perfection, Nia Lawson walked like she didn't belong, even though she tried to pretend she did. Her father drove one of the black town cars lined up outside every morning. That was her place here, invisible, replaceable, tolerated. But she never lowered her eyes, not even when everyone expected her to, especially not when he walked in. Jae Min Park moved through Crestwood like the air shifted for him. Silent, controlled, untouchable, the kind of boy teachers feared and students worshipped. And Nia hated that she always felt him before she saw him. Today was no different. She was swapping textbooks at her locker when the hallway went unnaturally quiet. She didn't look up. She didn't need to. His presence pressed against her back like a shadow. "Then move, Lawson." Nia turned. 3 girls stood behind her, Crestwood royalty in designer uniforms. Madison Hale led them, smiling like cruelty was a sport she trained for. "I said move," Madison repeated. "Your cheap shampoo is suffocating me." Nia didn't move, didn't blink. "I'm trying to get to class," she said calmly. The girls exchanged a look. Madison grabbed Nia's shoulder and slammed her into the lockers. Pain shot through Nia's arm, her shoulder still tender from last week's accident. Madison's eyes lit up. "Oh, that hurt?" She reached into her bag and pulled out a curling iron still plugged into a portable battery pack. Nia's stomach dropped. "Let's fix that attitude." The hot metal pressed into Nia's shoulder. She bit down on her lip until she tasted blood. She refused to scream. The smell of scorched fabric filled the hallway. "Stop." The voice was quiet. Too quiet. Everyone froze. Jae Min stood a few feet away, hands in his pockets, expression unreadable. His eyes weren't on Madison. They were on Nia. Madison straightened instantly. "Jae Min, hey, we were just—" He didn't look at her, not once. "Let her go," he said. Madison dropped the curling iron like it burned her instead. Nia exhaled shakily, clutching her shoulder. Jae Min stepped closer, not to her, but to Madison. His voice stayed soft, almost gentle. "If you touch her again," he said, "I'll make sure you regret it." Madison swallowed. "It was just a joke." "Do I look like I'm laughing?" Silence. Cold. Heavy. Madison backed away. Her friends followed. The hallway emptied fast. Nia stood there, breathing hard. Jae Min didn't move, didn't speak, just stared at her like she was a puzzle he couldn't solve. "You should go to the nurse," he said finally. "I don't need your help." He nodded once. "You never do." He walked away. But Madison Hale didn't show up to school the next day, or the next, or the next. Rumors spread broken ribs, a fractured wrist, a father who refused to press charges. Nia never asked. Jae Min never explained. But after that day, he watched her differently, not with pity, not with interest, with something deeper, something dangerous, something he didn't understand yet. And Nia. She hated that she noticed him even more. The night Jae Min Park's world collapsed didn't come with warning. It came with sirens. Federal agents swarmed the Park estate like a storm-black SUVs, flashing lights, men shouting orders. Nia watched from the back seat of her father's town car, fingers digging into the leather. "Stay in the car," her father said, but she couldn't look away. Jae Min stood on the front steps, jaw tight, fists clenched, as agents dragged his father out in handcuffs. Cameras flashed. Reporters screamed. His mother sobbed into her hands. And Jae Min, he didn't move, didn't blink, didn't break. Not yet. Something twisted in Nia's chest. She shouldn't care. She shouldn't feel anything. But she did. 3 months later, Crestwood Academy pretended nothing happened. That's what rich institutions did, erase scandals like chalk. But Jae Min wasn't the same. He walked alone now. No entourage, no laughter, only whispers and pity. Nia saw him once under the bleachers, staring at the ground, hands shaking. She almost walked over. Almost. But her father's warning echoed in her head. Stay away from that family. Trouble follows them. So she walked past, and Jae Min didn't look up. The night everything changed. It was past midnight when Nia heard shouting behind the Koreatown market where she worked. She stepped outside, expecting drunk customers. Instead, she saw 4 boys, Crestwood boys, boys who used to sit at Jae Min's table. Now they circled him like predators. "Look at the prince now," one sneered, kicking him in the ribs. Jae Min hit the pavement hard, coughing blood. "Your daddy can't save you anymore," another said, slamming his head against the dumpster. Nia froze. Her heart pounded. Her breath caught. Then she saw the knife. Her body moved before her mind did. "Hey!" she screamed, running toward them. The boys turned. "Lawson," one scoffed. "Go inside. This doesn't concern you." But she was already kneeling beside Jae Min, pressing her hand against the bleeding wound in his side. "Stay with me," she whispered. "Jae Min, look at me." His eyes fluttered open, confused, pained, and then soft. "Nia," he breathed, "don't talk. Just stay awake." One boy stepped forward. "Move, Lawson." She didn't. "Touch her," Jae Min rasped, "and I'll kill you." Even half-conscious, bleeding out, he still sounded like a threat. Sirens wailed in the distance. The boys ran. Nia ripped off her bracelet, a silver band engraved with her name, and tied it around his wound to slow the bleeding. "Stay with me," she begged, tears blurring her vision. "Don't you dare die." His hand lifted weakly, brushing hers. "You came," he murmured. "Of course I did." His eyes closed. "Jae Min," she cried, shaking him. "Stay awake," but he was already slipping under. She screamed for help until her throat burned. The call that broke her. At the hospital, Nia sat beside his bed for hours, refusing to leave. Then her phone rang. "Nia, your father, he collapsed. They're taking him to Grady Hospital." Her breath stopped. I have to go," she whispered, standing so fast the chair scraped the floor. As she rushed out, her bracelet, loosened by blood, slipped from Jae Min's wrist and fell onto the sheets. She didn't see it. She was already running. When Jae Min woke up, the room was quiet, cold, empty. Pain stabbed through his side as he blinked awake. His gaze drifted to the chair beside the bed. Empty. Then he saw it, the bracelet, her name, her warmth still clinging to the metal. He closed his fingers around it, breath shaking. And for the first time in his life, Jae Min Park made a promise. "I'll find you," he whispered, "no matter how long it takes." The Park estate was gone within weeks. The mansion emptied. The cars vanished from the driveway. The staff disappeared like they'd never existed. But none of that compared to the night Nia's world collapsed. Her father didn't come home from work. He arrived in an ambulance. Stress, threats, debt, fear. It all hit him at once. Nia stood in the hallway of Grady Hospital in Atlanta, hands shaking as doctors rushed past. Her mother cried quietly. Her younger brother sat curled in a chair, face buried in his knees. They had left Los Angeles overnight. No warning, no goodbyes. Just one message from her father's old boss. "Your family is no longer safe here." Nia didn't ask questions. She didn't need to. She knew exactly whose enemies had caused this, and exactly who she had to stay away from. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, Jae Min woke up alone. The hospital room was dim, cold. His side burned with every breath, but he ignored it. His eyes scanned the room, searching for the only thing that mattered. She wasn't there, but something else was. The bracelet. Her bracelet. He picked it up slowly, like it might vanish if he touched it too fast. His thumb brushed over the engraved letters. Nae. His breath caught. He remembered her hands pressing against his wound, her voice shaking, her tears hitting his cheek, her warmth, her fear, her strength. She saved him. She stayed. And then she disappeared. A nurse entered. "You're awake. You should rest." "Where is she?" he rasped. "Who?" "The girl who brought me in." "She left hours ago. Looked like she was in a hurry." Jae Min's jaw tightened. "Where did she go?" "I don't know." He didn't believe that. Someone knew something. Someone always knew something. The search begins. Jae Min left the hospital against medical advice. Pain meant nothing. He went to her house. Empty. He went to the market. No one had seen her. He went to Crestwood Academy. Her locker was cleared out. He went to the chauffeur's quarters behind the Park estate. Abandoned. Everywhere he turned, he found silence. "Where is she?" he demanded, grabbing one of the remaining staff by the collar. The man trembled. "They left, sir. The whole family, overnight." "Where?" "I don't know." Jae Min released him, chest heaving. He stood in the middle of the empty driveway, the bracelet cold in his hand, the world suddenly too big and too empty. For the first time in his life, he felt powerless, and he hated it. 1 year later, Jae Min Park was no longer the quiet heir of a fallen empire. He rebuilt himself from the ground up. Construction at dawn, warehouse shifts at night, bruised knuckles, bloodied hands, no sleep, no mercy. Every dollar he earned went toward one goal: find her. He hired investigators, traveled across states, followed every lead, every rumor, every whisper, Atlanta, Houston, Chicago, back to L.A., then New York. But every trail went cold. Every time he got close, she slipped away like smoke. 1 year passed, then 2, then 5, then 10. Still nothing. But he never stopped, because the bracelet never left his pocket, because her name never left his mind, because the night she saved him never left his heart, and because Jae Min Park was not the kind of man who let go. 12 years later, he stood in his Manhattan penthouse, overlooking the city he now controlled from the shadows. The Black Dragon Syndicate bowed to him. Politicians feared him. Rivals avoided him. He had everything, except the one person he built it all for. He opened the drawer beside his bed and pulled out the bracelet. The engraving was faded now, worn smooth from years of being held. "Nia," he whispered. He didn't know she was only a few miles away, working double shifts, drowning in debt, trying to survive. He didn't know fate was about to bring her back into his world, and this time, she wouldn't be able to run. The restaurant didn't match Nia's life. Crystal chandeliers, velvet booths, a wine list longer than her medical bills. Manhattan's elite whispered over plates that cost more than her rent. Nia moved between tables with practiced calm, forcing a smile she didn't feel. Her shoulder ached beneath her uniform, the old burn scar hidden under fabric. Tonight was supposed to be simple. Work, get paid, go home. But fate didn't care about her plans. Not when he walked in. A man. Everything shifted. Jae Min Park entered the restaurant like he owned the air inside it. Black suit, cold expression, men in dark coats trailing behind him like shadows. The room changed instantly. Conversation softened. Eyes lowered. Fear rippled through the space. Nia didn't notice him at first. She was setting down a plate at table 12, but he noticed her. He always did. His gaze locked on her the moment she stepped into view, her profile, her posture, the way she tucked a curl behind her ear. Something in his chest tightened painfully. It couldn't be. It couldn't. Then he saw it. Her shoulder, the faint outline of a scar beneath the fabric. His hand tightened around his wine glass. Too tight. The glass shattered. A sharp crack echoed through the restaurant. Red wine splashed across the tablecloth. Blood dripped from his palm. His men jumped forward. "Sir, your hand." He didn't hear them. His eyes were locked on her. Nia turned at the sound, startled. She saw the broken glass. The blood and instinct took over. She grabbed a cloth and rushed toward him. "Are you okay?" she asked, reaching for his hand. He stood. She froze. Their eyes met, and the world stopped. 12 years collapsed into a single heartbeat. Nia's breath caught. Jae Min's chest rose sharply. Neither spoke. Then she stepped back. "I'll get a first aid kit." She turned, but he followed. Not hesitating, not confused, certain, like he'd been walking toward her for 12 years. The back hallway, Nia pushed through the staff-only door, heart pounding. She reached for the first aid kit. A hand grabbed her wrist. She gasped, spinning around. Jae Min stood inches away, blood dripping from his palm, eyes burning into hers. "You," he said quietly. "It's you. Sir, you shouldn't be back here. Look at me. I'm working. Look at me, Nia." Her name on his tongue made her knees weaken. She forced herself to meet his eyes. He inhaled sharply, like the sight of her physically hurt him. 12 years, he whispered, and you're standing in front of me like nothing happened. "I don't know you," she said. His jaw tightened. "Don't lie to me." "I'm not lying. You are." He stepped closer. She stepped back. Her spine hit the wall. He didn't touch her. He didn't need to. "You saved my life," he said. "You held me while I bled out. You tied your bracelet around my wrist. You cried when you thought I'd die." Her breath hitched. He saw it. His voice softened. "And now you're telling me you don't remember?" "I don't," she whispered. He stared at her like she'd cut him open. Before he could speak again, "Where's my money, Lawson?" Nia's blood ran cold. A man stepped out of the shadow's broad shoulders, black jacket, eyes full of threat. He grabbed her by the throat and slammed her against the wall. Jae Min went still, the kind of stillness that came before something catastrophic. "You think you can hide from me?" the man growled. "You owe me." Jae Min moved, fast. He ripped the man away from Nia and slammed him into the opposite wall so hard the plaster cracked. The man choked. "Who the hell?" Jae Min pulled down his collar just enough to reveal the black dragon tattoo inked into his skin. The man's face drained of color. "Oh God, Black Dragon, sir, I didn't know." "Obviously," Jae Min said coldly. He twisted the man's arm until a sickening pop echoed through the hallway. The man screamed. Nia flinched. Jae Min didn't. He leaned in, voice low and lethal. "If you ever touch her again, I'll break more than your arm." He released him. The man stumbled away, clutching his arm, and ran. Silence filled the hallway. Nia pressed a hand to her throat, breathing hard. Jae Min turned to her slowly, eyes softening in a way that made her chest ache. "Are you hurt?" he asked. "I'm fine." "You're not. Why do you care?" His jaw tightened. "Because I never stopped." She looked away. "I don't know you." He stepped closer, voice barely above a whisper. "You will." Nia didn't sleep that night. She quit the restaurant before her shift ended, packed her things, deleted numbers, erased traces. She didn't know where she was going, only that she had to disappear. Because if Jae Min Park truly recognized her, if he'd truly been searching for her, if he'd become the man she feared he had, staying in Manhattan was suicide. But fate didn't care what she wanted. 2 days later, Upper East Side. The penthouse was too bright, too white, too perfect. Nia kept her head down as she dusted the marble counter, ignoring the ache in her throat from the bruises. "Lawson," a sharp voice snapped. Nia straightened. Evelyn Cho stood in the doorway. Sleek dress, perfect hair, the kind of woman who'd never lifted anything heavier than a champagne flute. "Yes, ma'am." "You missed a spot," Evelyn said, pointing at nothing. "Fix it. My fiancé is coming." Nia nodded and returned to cleaning. She didn't know who Evelyn's fiancé was. She didn't care. Until the elevator dinged, and the air shifted. Footsteps, slow, measured, familiar. Nia froze. Evelyn's voice brightened. "Jae Min, you're early." Nia's blood ran cold. She turned, and there he was, Jae Min Park, standing in the penthouse, looking at Evelyn with polite disinterest until his eyes slid past her and landed on Nia. Everything inside him stopped. His expression didn't change, but his eyes did. Recognition, shock, rage, relief, all tangled together. Evelyn followed his gaze. "Oh, her. She's just the maid. Started a few days ago. She's adequate." Adequate. Jae Min's jaw flexed. He crossed the room before Nia could breathe. He stopped in front of her. "Nia," he said quietly. Evelyn blinked. "You know her?" He didn't answer. His eyes dropped to Nia's neck. The bruises, dark, ugly, still healing. His entire body went rigid. "What happened to your neck?" he asked. "It's nothing," she said quickly. He reached out slow, careful fingers hovering just above the bruise. She slapped his hand away. "Don't touch me." The rejection hit him like a blow. Evelyn scoffed. "You don't speak to him like—" "Be quiet," Jae Min said without looking at her. Evelyn's mouth snapped shut. He turned back to Nia. "Who did this?" "No one." "Nia." "I said it's nothing." His voice dropped to something dangerous. "Don't lie to me." "You don't get to demand anything from me," she snapped. He exhaled sharply, fighting for control. You need a hospital. I'm not going anywhere with you. Yes, he said, taking her arm not rough, but firm. You are. Evelyn stepped forward. Jae Min, what are you doing? Leaving. With her? Yes. Evelyn's face twisted. Are you insane? She's the help. Jae Min turned his head slowly, eyes cold enough to freeze bone. Say another word, he said, and I'll end this engagement before you finish the sentence. Evelyn went silent. Nia stared at him, stunned. You can't just drag me. But he already had her in the elevator. The car ride Nia sat rigid in the back seat, arms crossed, refusing to look at him. Jae Min watched her like she might vanish again. You're hurt, he said. I'm fine. You're not. Stop talking to me. He didn't. You quit the restaurant. Silence. You took a job in that penthouse. More silence. You're running again. Her jaw tightened. I'm not running from you, she snapped. I'm running from everything that comes with you. His breath caught. Before he could respond, the car stopped. Nia looked out the window. Her stomach dropped. The hospital. Manhattan General. Room 412. The room where she saved him 12 years ago. Her chest tightened painfully. Why here? She whispered. Because this is where everything started, he said softly. Inside room 412, doctor treated her neck quickly. Nia answered every question with the same lie. I fell. Jae Min stood in the corner, arms crossed, jaw clenched so hard a muscle ticked. When the doctors left, Nia grabbed her jacket. I'm leaving. Sit down. No. Naya! She turned, eyes blazing. You don't know me. You don't get to order me around. He stepped closer. You're right. I don't know who you are now. Her breath hitched. But I know who you were, he said. I know what you did for me. I know what you meant to me. Stop. You remember. I don't. You do. I don't. He reached into his coat. Her heart stopped. He pulled out the bracelet. Her bracelet. The metal worn smooth. The engraving faded. He held it between them. What about this? He whispered. Her eyes widened before she could stop them. He saw it. Pain flickered across his face. You remember, he said again, voice breaking. She said nothing. He stared at her for a long, agonizing moment. Then he turned away and walked out. Nia pressed her hands over her mouth, tears burning behind her eyes. Because she remembered everything. Every second, every scar, every night she prayed never to see him again. But she couldn't let him know that. Not when loving him once destroyed her family, and loving him again might destroy her. Nia didn't see Jae Min for 3 days, but she felt him everywhere, in the whispers about a man in a black suit pacing the hospital lobby, in the unknown numbers lighting up her phone, in the way her chest tightened every time she passed room 412. She tried to pretend nothing had changed, but everything had, especially when she got home and found the envelope, thin, unmarked, slipped under her door. Inside was a single sheet of paper, her debts, all of them, loan sharks, hospital bills, late fees, stamped, paid in full. Her hand shook. No, she whispered. No, 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 he didn't. But he did, and that meant she had to run. Again. JFK Airport. 11:47 p.m. Nia stood in line at the check-in counter, hood low, backpack slung over her shoulder. Her heart pounded so hard she felt it in her teeth. Atlanta. She'd go back to Atlanta. Start over, disappear. She kept her head down. Then the airport lights flickered. A ripple of tension moved through the crowd. People turned, whispered, stepped aside. She didn't need to look. She felt him. Jae Min Park walked through the terminal like a storm in a tailored suit. Security froze. Passengers moved out of his way. His men scanned the crowd. But Jae Min wasn't looking at them. He was looking for her. And he found her instantly. Their eyes locked. Her boarding pass slipped from her fingers. He walked toward her with slow, deliberate steps, each one a promise he'd waited 12 years to keep. She turned. She ran. But she didn't get far. A hand closed around her wrist, not harsh, not painful, but unbreakable. "Nia," he said, breath uneven. "Don't. Let me go." "No. Jae Min. No." She turned to face him, tears burning behind her eyes. "Why are you doing this?" His voice cracked. "Because I lost you once. I'm not losing you again. You don't own me. I know. You don't get to decide my life. I know. Then let me go." He shook his head, eyes shining with something raw. "I can't." "Why?" she whispered. He exhaled shakily. "Because you're the only thing in my life that ever felt real." Her chest tightened painfully. "Jae Min, you don't understand what being near you costs me." "I do," he said softly. "More than you think." "My family paid the price once," she whispered. "I won't let them pay it again." He stepped closer. "Your debts are gone. That's not the point. It is to me. You can't fix everything with money." "I didn't use money." She froze. "What?" "I used power." Her stomach dropped. "What did you do?" He didn't answer. He didn't have to. She saw it in his eyes. He didn't negotiate. He didn't bargain. He didn't plead. He ended them. "Jae Min," she whispered, horrified. "They won't touch you again," he said. "No one will. That's not protection. That's control. It's survival." "For who?" "For both of us. You're dangerous. I know. You terrify me. I know. But Her voice broke. "I remember everything." His breath caught. He stepped closer, so close she felt the warmth of him, the gravity of him, the years of longing in his silence. "Say it again," he whispered. "I remember." His eyes closed, like the words physically hit him. When he opened them, something darker flickered behind the softness. "You should have told me." "I couldn't." "Why?" "Because loving you once destroyed my family." "And loving me now?" he asked quietly. She hesitated. "It might destroy me." He reached up, brushing a tear from her cheek with his thumb. "I won't let anything hurt you," he said. "Not again. You are the danger." "I know," he whispered. "But I'm yours." Her breath hitched. Before she could respond, one of his men rushed forward, pale. "Boss, we have a problem." Jae Min didn't look away from her. "What?" "They know who she is." Nia's blood ran cold. "Who?" "Your enemies," the man said. "All of them." Jae Min's expression shifted instantly, softness replaced by lethal focus. He grabbed Nia's hand. "You're not getting on that plane." "Jae Min, if you walk away now," he said, voice low, "I can't protect you." Her heart pounded. Her mind raced. Her world tilted. And for the first time in 12 years, she didn't know if running was the safest choice anymore.